Stocks are making their way on chain, and it's pretty exciting to see. Right now, there's over 360 million worth of tokenized stocks on chain, with monthly transfer volumes hitting around 72 million. Sure, it's still early days, but there's no denying we're starting to see Wall Street dip its toes into the on-chain world. Here's the wild part. 55 million of that tokenized stock value is already on the XRP ledger. Yep, XRP is leading the charge thanks to projects like ArcX. It's fascinating to watch XRP expand its tokenized market, first with stablecoins and now with more tokenized stocks joining the mix. As more players step up and push this forward, we're going to see even bigger developments with tokenized stocks. The tokenization revolution is picking up steam, and XRP is right at the forefront. Think about this: US treasuries, non-US government debt, and now a growing market for XRP's tokenized economy. It all began just earlier this year, and already we're seeing some serious momentum. With 157 million in the mix and a 35% growth in just the last 30 days, the potential trajectory for XRP is hard to ignore. But here's the real kicker. When you compare tokenized assets to the overall stock market, we're barely scratching the surface. Imagine the size of the ocean, and we're just a drop in the bucket. There's still a tidal wave of opportunity ahead, with more money set to flow in and countless players yet to join the game. Tokenized stocks are just the beginning, and the ripple effect could redefine the financial landscape as we know it. Big moves are happening, and if you're paying attention, the writing's on the wall. Wall Street is gearing up to dive headfirst into blockchain. Sure, not all the major players are in the game yet, but don't let that fool you. This is just the beginning. BlackRock, they're here. Fidelity, they are here too. The titans of asset management are already staking their claim, and it's only a matter of time before the rest follow suit. Now, here's the exciting part. We're on the brink of seeing Wall Street flip the switch and fully embrace on-chain finance. It's not if, it's when. And I'm here to tell you, it's coming faster than you think. In this discussion, I'll break down what this shift means and how it's all starting to unfold. Let's rewind to June 11th, a pivotal moment. Tokenized treasuries went live on the XRP ledger. Yes, you read that right. Ono Finance's OUSG opened the doors for institutional investors with seamless minting and redemptions using Ripple's ROUSD stablecoin. If you're already familiar with Ondo, you know how big this is. If not, buckle up, because this is just a glimpse of what's to come. Wall Street on the blockchain isn't just a dream, it's an inevitability. And if you're not familiar with Ondo yet, it's time to pay attention. Over the past few months, I've been diving into Ondo and sharing videos about what makes it such a game changer. Here's the deal. Ondo is taking Wall Street and giving it a DeFi makeover. Welcome to the future of finance. With Ondo Global Markets, you can access tokenized stocks like Tesla, Visa, and Nvidia. Yes, the real deal now on the blockchain. But that's not all. They've also brought ETFs, index funds, and equities into the mix, creating a seamless bridge between traditional finance and cutting-edge crypto. And just when you thought they were done, Ondo announced their Global Markets Alliance on the 17th to push tokenized securities even further. Wall Street 2 is here, and Ondo is leading the charge. The world of crypto is evolving faster than ever, and Ono Finance is leading the charge. This innovative alliance is setting a new standard for tokenized securities, making it smoother and more accessible than ever before. But that's not all. Ondo has already launched its game-changing platform, Ondo Global Markets, and it's making waves. So who's teaming up with Ondo? Let's just say they're playing in the big leagues. And yes, Ripple is one of their key partners. Ripple's involvement brings even more excitement to the table, and for good reason. According to Ripple and the Boston Consulting Group, tokenization isn't just a buzzword or a pilot project anymore. It's here, it's real, and it's poised to completely transform the global financial infrastructure. How big is this transformation? Think 19 trillion by 2033. That's right. Tokenized assets are turning static investments into dynamic, programmable tools, unlocking endless possibilities. And the future isn't far off. It's happening right now. Today, Ondo Finance is taking a massive leap forward with US government treasuries tokenized directly on the XRP ledger. We're stepping into a new era of finance where innovation meets tradition. Say hello to tokenized UU treasuries, now more accessible than ever thanks to Ripple's enterprise-grade Zipcoin RLUSD. Seamless minting, easy redemptions, and institutional-grade credibility. This milestone is reshaping how real-world assets live on-chain. But this isn't just about treasuries. This is about the future of finance, Wall Street too. Imagine a more open tokenized market where institutional DeFi brings Wall Street closer to the blockchain. It's not just a vision, It's happening. Even Robinhood's Vlad Tenev is weighing in. He's calling stock tokenization not just a possibility, but a necessity for better risk management. The convergence is real, the momentum is building, and the foundation is being laid for a financial revolution. Check this out.
I think there's a huge potential in the same way that stable coins and stablecoin clarity driving US dollar dominance, particularly abroad. Tokenization of securities could drive continued dominance of US companies. So that's going to be good for the companies themselves because it'll plug them into a global market of liquidity. And that could be useful for trading, but also for raising private capital, primary capital. It's also good for people outside the US because they could be plugged into the most innovative and attractive assets. It could be easier for those folks to build wealth over time. So I think those are the international benefits of it. Even in the US, it could be very, very helpful. The idea that you can self-custody a stock or a security is incredibly powerful because if you've tried to move your stocks from one broker to another, it takes multiple days. Sometimes you have to go into a physical branch office. You have to talk on the phone to someone. So people just don't do it. Your stocks are very much locked into a particular broker. And I think it's a risk management issue. If something happens to that broker and you're unable to get into and out of positions, I think that's a big problem. And that's just one of the things that tokenization could help address, which I think eventually when everyone kind of sees the benefits of this technology, it'll go from being a possibility to actually being inevitable.
It's no longer a question of if, it's happening. Blockchain is transforming finance right before our eyes, and Ripple has been dropping hints all along. Remember back in May when Ripple boldly declared, if it's happening on chain, it's happening with Ripple? They weren't kidding. From payments and custody to stable coins, they've shown us the roadmap for the future of finance. And let's not forget those teaser images, the Wall Street Bull, the Marinucci line, painting a clear picture of a revolution in motion. Tokenized stocks, they're not just a concept anymore. They're here. Stablecoins already thriving on chain. Even US treasuries have made the leap. The flood of financial assets onto blockchain isn't coming. It's arrived. The question is, are you ready to embrace the shift? Find out how Ripple and blockchain are not just changing finance, but reshaping everything. The future is on-chain. The future is already here, and it's on-chain. Global, bonds, private credit, commodities, institutional funds, these assets are making their way to the blockchain, and the momentum is undeniable. If you're still skeptical, you might want to rethink that stance because a year from now, you'll wish you had paid attention. The shift is happening fast and it's only picking up speed. Let's talk numbers. At the start of this year, the total real world assets on chain stood at 15.7 billion. Fast forward 6 months and we're knocking on 25 billion. That's nearly $10 billion, 0 cents added in half a year. The growth isn't slowing, it's accelerating. The question isn't if this trend will continue, but how far it will go. The pace of change is wild, and it's only picking up speed. Here's why. Governments are already making moves towards stablecoins. That's a massive signal that we're on the verge of a digital fiat currency revolution. Stablecoins are set to explode, becoming more liquid and driving the growth of entirely new markets. This isn't just speculation. It's happening right now. We're witnessing the start of a financial transformation, a revolution that's reshaping how the world moves money. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Back on April 14th, Tuckerum's CEO dropped a bombshell. Ripple, with XRP and Hidden Road, is building the new Wall Street. Let that sink in. An entirely new financial ecosystem is taking shape. I've got a clip from that conversation, plus another video from the same CEO doubling down on this vision. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
Or value. And I think that other cryptos, including XRP, have a use case, a legitimate use case. I think XRP's is a wonderful working model. I think that it's only going to get better. They made an acquisition today where I believe they bought a prime broker, and that's really big news because that means they can there'll be almost instantaneous settlement across all asset classes inside that prime broker. It'll be a wonderful start to the new Wall Street, that's based on blockchain that moves really quickly. No more 3 days for wire transfers. We're gonna have instant money, and that's good.
Yeah, and you mentioned
big news. Let's talk about the Hidden Road acquisition. If you've been following along, you already know the deal, but here's the exciting part. We're about to see rapid adoption like never before. Things are shifting into high gear, and Ripple is paving the way for a major transformation on Wall Street. The momentum is undeniable. Take a look at this.
But what we know about it is they bought a company called Hidden Road, used by a lot of hedge funds and traders and people to basically, it's a prime broker. Okay, and to clear trades and settle trades. So just think about being able to near instantaneously turn one asset into another asset, be it dollars into a foreign currency, or any sort of currency, dollars or other currencies into a commodity. All that stuff eventually is going to end up on the blockchain. All those transactions are going to end up on the blockchain. And XRP is the token. And again, they've got a stable coin that is necessary for making these things happen. All of that is happening behind the scenes. It's complicated. It's hard to describe. I certainly am no expert in being able to describe it, but I can tell you that it's here and it's working. It's being used aggressively in Asia. The only reason it wasn't used and being adopted faster in the US is because of the uncertainty of regulations and punishment. Quite frankly, banks were afraid of being punished for stepping into the crypto world where they couldn't. As that goes away and we have clarity in the regulation and permissions of what people can do, you're going to see rapid adoption of it's a better technology. Why take 2 or 3 days to settle something when you can settle it in seconds? That doesn't make any sense if you don't do that. And the only thing preventing people from do that is, number one, regulations. You can't be afraid. And number two, because those regulations are there and people are afraid, is being adopted slowly, so the build out is slow. Okay, but everything's going to ramp up and go much quicker than it has. It's not going to be an overnight change, but it is a change that is happening now, and that the rate of change will accelerate, I believe. And we're going to Ripple's changing Wall Street. They're changing Wall Street. They're not the only company doing it. Okay, they just happen to be the one that, in our opinion, is furthest ahead and really going to make big waves doing it.
Ripple has been quietly leading the charge for years, building infrastructure that's light years ahead of most in the game. Let's not forget, they've been laying the foundation since day one, actively working with regulators and striving for compliance in an industry often clouded by uncertainty. That's no small feat. The Ripple ecosystem, including XRP and the XRPL, has been around since 2012. That's over a decade of innovation. This isn't some flash in the pan project. The technology has been tested, trusted, and used by major companies and banks who understand just how revolutionary it is. They've seen firsthand the disruptive power Ripple brings to the table. When we talk about reshaping industries, Ripple is undeniably one of the key players moving Wall Street onto the blockchain. And they're not alone. Other big names like Ondo are stepping up too. Take a moment to think about all the major players out there making waves in the financial and blockchain world. Now consider their potential connections to Ripple. Here's the exciting part. You'll almost always find a link. Take Ondo, for example, or Securitize, or even the DTCC, which recently acquired Security. Fun fact, Ripple was an investor in Security. These connections and strategic moves aren't just random. They're part of a master plan Ripple has been orchestrating for years. Ripple isn't just keeping up, they're leading the charge. Every partnership, every acquisition, every well-timed move tells a story of careful planning and long-term vision. Look at Hidden Road's acquisition, for instance. These aren't coincidences. They're calculated steps in Ripple's strategy to stay ahead of the curve. And here's the kicker. It's no longer just about speculation. Ripple has been dropping hints for years, and now the pieces are finally coming together. This isn't about guessing or speculating anymore. It's happening. Wall Street is officially moving on-chain, and the proof is right in front of us. The future of finance is unfolding, and it's an exciting time to watch it all play out. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. There's plenty more valuable content coming your way. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay curious. See you next time.